Yo,
Nice.
good day
Very
and
nice.
welcome. I know, man. I've skills.
You got
Man. I have
skills?
skills. So, guys, we are live for another episode of the Road FS Detail Bookie Podcast. As you know, we're always looking for amazing guests, amazing stories. And Rod and I had the opportunity, as you guys know, to go to Mobile Tech Expo. And we had the awesome opportunity to meet our guest today. They're from the other side of the pond. Isabel and Andy Duff from Studio 16. Good, well, evening for you guys. It's good
Yeah.
morning here. So
Yeah.
super excited to have you guys. So
We're happy to be here. Thanks for asking us.
Yeah.
so
So let's talk about a couple things. One, how was your experience at Mobile Tech Expo?
You go first.
Well, it was absolutely awesome. Blew my mind. I can't wait to go back next year. It was just everything that had been described to me by people who were seasoned MTEers had said you need to go. It's great for networking. It's great for just meeting people that you see on Instagram and all that, putting names and faces together. And it was fantastic. It was such a quick week. And even the education side of it, Andy and I split up, so he could go to one seminar and I would go to another to make the most of it. And it didn't have enough time.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. That's pro
smart.
move. That's
That's
a pro
pro
move right
move.
there. So
how about you, Andy? How was your experience?
It was better than I expected. We'd obviously done the Sheffield show, which was in September, which is a kind of mini MTE. So we kind of knew how the education was working. But luckily, Dave, who you had on last week, Dave took us under his wing and explained where to be, when to be there, and he was really like a dad.
Yeah, it really looked
He was
after
like
us
a
at
dad, a
MTE.
photographer, everything. I think we were really well looked after at IDA, with the IDA guys and people that we know from this side of the country, and obviously in the US as well. People that I've known quite a lot of the guys for a period of time through Facebook and that, but I'd never met them in real life, so it was interesting meeting these guys.
Made loads of new friends from
Loads
across
of
the
new
pond
friends,
as well, so it was fantastic.
yeah. And then there was this little thing that happened where you got an award of some kind. what
That blew my mind, honestly. The fact I was even nominated, I couldn't believe it. And I have to confess, I did go to the States with, I was really dubious about the possibility of even winning it. Even more so when I went to one of the education seminars, and one of the guys who was also nominated in my category was hosting the seminar. And I thought, oh man, there's no way I'm going to win against this guy. Listen to him, he was so educated. It was Chris Benz. He was so great on his presentation. And I thought, no way I'm going to win now. So when my name got called, I nearly fainted. It was
comment back up there for 1 second. So Dave says good news, he's got audio because we couldn't hear him last time. You know why that is, Dave? It's because you have 6 toes because you're from the South.
Poor Dave.
Poor Dave. That's funny.
Yeah, he told us all about that. People from down there get the.
So yeah, the actual award you got was the Newcomer of the Year award, and it's interesting because you come from a beauty side of things, right? So you do eyelashes and all, and color and all that stuff. And your man Andy's drug you in, I don't know if reluctantly, but brought you into the automotive detailing world. So let's talk about kind of that transition. How did that happen?
You want to tell him?
Yeah, well, basically a couple of years ago, I was pretty ill towards Christmas, and had a big one of these kind of life-changing moments, and I thought, how can I keep my business open if I wasn't there? So I thought I'll get Isabel in. I wanted her still to be able to make money off the business if I wasn't there. That's what I really should have said there. Yeah. So if we were going to employ another detailer or other detailers to do my job, I didn't want the wool to be pulled over Isabel's eyes. So she came in and understanding that she sort of learn it. And then last year we had a chat with Russ Ormiston from Invisible Patterns, and he said, you'd be brilliant at PPF. And then she went and got trained by Russ and just moved into that. But she's absolutely smashed everything. I mean, I train quite a lot of guys. I do a lot of training at my studio. She's like the top student I've ever had. I know I've got to say that, but she really is. Isabel, she strives to do the best. Whatever she does, it doesn't matter what she's doing.
Well, that's a good teacher.
She's got to be the
Good
best.
teacher.
And I'm kind of like that as well. We don't really, second best isn't good enough for us.
Yeah.
I think going into Andy's business wasn't meant to be a permanent thing for me. It was meant to be just, I had to go in and get a feel for it so that if he was out of the picture, the business could still run and I could oversee it while I'm still in my beauty business, which I still have. And I just got a bug for it. I really, really got a bug for it. And the pivotal thing for me was having the conversation over a pint. Do you remember you mentioned last week with Dave? All the conversations happen over a pint. And over that drink, we were chatting to Russ from Invisible Patterns, who then said, because of the sort of skill set I have for doing eyelash extensions, he said that that's ideal for doing PPF. So that's what that conversation started. So now I've found myself in Andy's studio. I'm doing obviously car detailing, motorbike detailing, and motorbike PPF within a year, and it's just blown my mind how fast it's all happened. Yeah. And just one thing's led into another. So it's really exciting, really exciting.
The thing I want to know is, when is Andy going to start doing eyelash extensions? Beard extensions.
Funnily enough, we've got a social media guy that does a social media and videos and stuff, and he said that'd be a great take. Have you seen the size of my hands? It's like, would you want me putting eyelashes on?
That's right, you know. and on a serious note, there's.
Really
however, we can't get a willing victim.
Yeah, it's getting
client.
If there's anybody out there would like me to stick eyelashes to their eyelashes, then I'll give it a go.
That's right. We do beard extensions, you know.
Beard extensions, yeah.
So the ironic part is that there's a gal here in town, Sydney Bray-Gwynn. She has a detail shop that's really successful. Plus, she's at Car Candy, but she came from a similar background. Okay. And so I think that is it. If you look at industries that have a real attention to detail, no pun intended, and charity detail or lash day. There you go.
You might get a thumb in the eye.
That's right.
If Andy does it.
Yeah. But I think that those kind of industries where you have to do that, if you're shaving somebody with a straight razor, the level of detail you have to have for that, somebody that would be doing like old school barber that does it that would be really good for PPF because of the cutting through and getting the sense for the feel of the PPF. So
I let somebody do that.
Hey, you can do it. It's
before, but we did have a barber shop together. I'm a trained barber.
He's a trained barber as well.
There you go. See, there you go. So
that's funny.
We got to go to 2 or 3 trainings with Russ, and one with Paulo in Canada, one with Richard Hutchings but it was in Denver. So we did that, and that was one of those things that is PPF, and using a blade is one of those things that I feel like you either can do it because you have the sensitivity in your hands, or you just can't.
Yeah.
And I love my friend here, but
I cannot do it.
Nope.
I do not want to do it.
You don't want him anywhere near a car with anything that's PPF or a blade. It just
no,
not at all.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, he can kill it on a rotary, but stay away from the blade. So
I have a really good trainer in Russ, and he's got a lot of patience. And I went down to Invisible Patterns in Manchester just before Christmas to get advanced PPF training with him. And the exercise was about cutting PPF on a board initially. And I got this squeak.
If you know, you know.
And if you know, you know. But yeah, he was quite pleased with me. And he actually trusted me that day. Had never picked up a knife before, but he trusted me that day to cut PPF on his own car. So I was like, not worthy.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, the story that I have is that when we were in Canada, our friend Paulo Asentia, he's been doing PPF for a long time, and Russ just shook his head, but we took a piece of PPF and got the backing paper was still on it.
Yeah.
And we got it wet, and I stuck it on my bare arm, and Paolo cut on my arm.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
Paolo's good.
Russ just shook his head, and I was like, "Hey, Paolo's been doing this a long time, and worst thing that's going to happen is he'll have another scar, and it'll look cool." So,
And have a good story.
that's right. And he'll have a good story.
Not all good stories start in a bar. Some start cutting PPF.
Some start with a razor blade and some PPF. If you do that over a pint, it could be a good story, though.
Oh,
So-
yeah, I can see that happening over a pint as being a
MT
drinking game.
2027.
Yes.
It's happening.
That's right. We'll start with.
It's happening.
That's right. We'll start with one drink and one knife, and then as you go throughout the night, you'll see.
I can see this. I can see this being messy.
It's like that thing. Knife you stabbing.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
Oh, that's
So let's talk about a little bit about your business itself. You guys, from your social media and stuff, you guys do some really nice work. PPF detailing and stuff, and some of the cars you guys have on there are just fantastic. So the area you guys are in Glasgow, how big of a population are we dealing with?
So the studio is actually in Ayr, which is about 30 miles south of Glasgow, and it's not that big a population. I couldn't tell you offhand. I've lived there most of my life, but I moved up to Glasgow with Isabel in 2020,
2020, yeah.
just pre-COVID, no, just after COVID.
Yeah, so we live in Glasgow, but
Yeah.
the studio's in Ayr.
Yeah. So the population isn't that big, but it's one of these places that if you get a reputation, it spreads really quickly.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing for the past while. You know, it's my reputation. I've got people that come in to me and I've done their cars, their son's cars, it's that kind of place, and that's kind of the best work I get is on reputation.
Recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recommendation, yeah.
That's pretty much about it.
And I think that's one of the best things that can happen is if somebody is recommending you to family and friends or coworkers, is because that's really the best mention you can get. No advertising is as valuable as that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell them about the car that you got that was in Bullet.
Yeah, I actually had one of the 11 Mustangs from Bullet.
Oh, wow.
I had that in. That was a few years ago. But people, funnily enough, do travel as well. So I've had people from Dave's end of the country come up to the studio. They come up to meet see their relatives on holiday and get their car detailed at the same time. And I just think they must drive past 500 detail shops to get to me. But I've just started taking it now. It's just like,
yeah.
I think you do good work and you continually do work. I always say to people that you're only as good as the last job you've done. I can tell people about my IDA journey, all that kind of stuff, but you're only as good as the car that you're turning at the door that day. So that's how I run my business. Nothing goes out the studio unless I'm happy with it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a really good mindset to have, is that it's got to have that, in PDR world, they call it QC, right? Quality control. You got to look over that last bit and make sure. There's a gentleman here in town that has a really nice shop, and it's the same way. He looks everything over, and regardless of the package that the customer has paid for, there's certain areas that he makes sure are clean. Even if they just did an exterior only, the shift boot is going to be cleaned and the steering wheel is going to be cleaned and things like that, because that's something you notice as soon as you get in.
Yeah.
And I think that
the dynamic with Andy and I in the studio and how it worked really well in terms of quality is we're both perfectionists.
Yeah.
Can actually be a bit of a hindrance at times, but we try and always strive for that extra 10%, and then when we get that, we look for another wee bit to strive to achieve. And I think that's what's helped the studio get the quality of cars that have come through.
I call it chasing the 10%.
Yeah.
And when I do my training, it's that last 10% that makes the job ping.
Yeah.
It makes the job extra special,
Yeah. And it's enjoyment for us as well, and the satisfaction you get from that.
Yeah.
You get you're handing the car over, the vehicle over to the customer, and I love it when they say, my car didn't even look like that the day I bought it from the dealership. What a great accolade that is, Love it.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of people, they skip that last 10%. I've seen cars where the car looks great, except for in the door jambs, you can see dust all around it where they didn't wipe it off when they were done polishing it, or there's window trim that has some white scuff marks on it and things like that people are overlooking the fact that that's what you're there to do, is make the car look as good as you possibly can, or the motorcycle for Russ, you don't want to skip Russ there.
So let's talk about the dynamic of working together as a couple. I mean, obviously you started out with the goal of just giving her an overview so that she understood the business. But now that you're becoming more integrated as a team in the business, how has that dynamic changed? And, what's the secret sauce to, as Dave said, two lovebirds working together?
It probably is that. It's like, although we're married, Isabel's my best friend. So working with your best friend, who's also as meticulous as you, so I don't really need to be pointing things out to Isabel. Isabel will point things out to me. I'll point things out to her, and it just works so well. She's your ideal staff member, really. She is. So, Isabel, as I said earlier, it doesn't matter whether she's hoovering the carpet or polishing. It's got to be the best that she can be, and it annoys her when she can't. There's certain, obviously you're running a business, so you can't be a total perfectionist, so it's within reason, but it works so well. But Isabel and I got on so well, outside work, inside work. I'd have her at work every day. She's great. What you see, what you get with the two of us, really.
I may add, we've only been married a few years, so ask us that question in 10 years.
I love it.
I got to that on Facebook.
We're gonna have to do that 10-year anniversary, because I'd like to see.
We have the 10-year anniversary show coming up in 10 years. Tune in. So that brings me to a question of Andy, how long has the studio been a business of yours?
The studio, I had a mobile business, like 90% of detailers. I had a mobile valeting business. And then I moved inside at the end of 2019.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the studio has really been open 5-6 years now, because I was just getting really annoyed at not being able to do the job that I wanted to do and move on. But the biggest change for me probably would have been the first detailing summit. I went to the very, very first detailing summit with Richard. And before, you guys were actually on the TV at one point.
Yep.
And it just changed my whole perception of everything, like everybody has this imposter syndrome, and I went to the first detailing summit, stood at the back, Richard will tell you as well, stood at the back and kind of took everything in. And then I went home and I was like, do you know what? I can rock it with these guys, no problem, and kind of just changed my whole mindset, and everything from there's just kind of spiraled.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The business has just gone from strength to strength, and I don't even think Andy knew where the sort of the standards we're reaching now, and where we're at now in the business. So it's been a great journey for him as well.
Yeah. That's a tribute one to Richard and his vision of the Detail Summit. Yeah. It's also a testament to what happens when you extend your network, because you don't know what you don't know, right? And it's amazing what happens when you get into different circles, right? Yeah. And you see and you have conversations and you're exposed to what really can happen. But I think a lot of times, especially when you're small in business, right? You're just starting out and growing. You have this idea of what it can be, but until you get into different circles, all of a sudden your mind goes from this to here, and that investing in yourselves. And that sounds like exactly what happened to you, Andy.
That's exactly what happened, because when I went back to Detailing Summit in 2020, the year after, I was actually presenting at the Detailing Summit. So I'd done 2 presentations at the Detailing Summit. Actually, I'm thinking at the moment I would quite like to present at MTE next year.
Yes,
You should.
You
No,
should.
I had a chat with Isabel and she went, well, why
Why not?
why not?
Why not?
You know, I've got 35 years experience in this game. I've got a lot to offer, do a lot of training. Probably could tick a lot of boxes with a lot of people, and yeah, so that might happen 2027.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
That's
that is-
awesome.
that's one of the kind of the unspoken things about the detailing summit. If anytime you can get together with peers, and I think you said it best, is the imposter syndrome. A lot of times I think people go into this thinking, okay, am I really, do I know enough? What am I? And when you realize, you go into this and you realize that everybody's at that same spot. We only know so much.
Yep.
Yeah.
We can always learn. And
Yeah.
Richard is a wealth of knowledge. He's like the encyclopedia of leather.
Yeah.
And then but everybody else in there, and the people that come into that are willing to share, and there's no egos, and you meet some wonderful people. Subtitles. I'm trying, Russ.
I'm sorry, it's our
I'll
American
try
accent
I will
is hard.
speak slower for you, Russ.
I hope he's not talking about me.
I think
he is.
No, I think it's me. You know, it's like it's that American accent. It's hard to
I said
understand.
hood and trunk, and he needed me to say boot
Bonnet.
and bonnet. It's what
Okay.
So, but I think that's the key to it, is going into it with that open mind and stepping back. When Jody and I, one of the most impactful summits we've been to, and we've been really lucky. We've gone to like 4 or 5 of the summits. One of them we went to in the Netherlands was so eye-opening for me.
Oh gosh,
just to see how people in other parts of the world do things and get exposed to different products that we don't get here in the U.S. There was a paint touch-up system that doesn't come to the U.S. that was phenomenal. I mean, absolutely game changer for anybody doing paint touch-up. And the people there doing the same thing. We're still polishing cars. We're still, making cars look shiny and making them look as good as we possibly can. But just the openness and the people that we met and the friends that we made. And I think that's the key to it, is like-minded people that understand what you deal with on a daily basis. The frustration of trying to get that spot out of the carpet, and you can't get it out, and you can't get it out, and you can't get it out. And you got to realize at some point that's there forever. It's changed the fibers of that carpet, and there's only one thing you can do, and that's get new carpet. But I think that it's good to meet those people and have those connections. And I absolutely, you should for sure do a seminar at Mobile Tech Expo. And then I would have Russ be your interpreter. He has to speak perfect English in the US to be able to do that.
I'll practice.
For just what you're saying there about that, it's 2 or 3 years ago, that would have been a pipeline dream for Andy. He'd maybe, I'd like to do that one day, but I just don't feel I can. Now he's got that so much confidence, and it's the personal growth side of things as well, from being at these seminars and networking, and being part of the IDA has been a massive thing for both of us as well.
Yeah.
But how you've got a WhatsApp group. If you've got a question about something, even with 35 years experience, if there's something he hasn't come across before, he can simply ask that question. There's always someone in line who will answer almost instantly. And they're not saying, oh, this is for me to know and not for you to know. No. They're very like, here's my knowledge. And
we'll share it.
I just love that. I wish the beauty had a bit more of that,
and it takes that, I think it takes that humbleness, right? There's so many people in the detailing industry that have huge egos, that are they're not humble. They feel like they know it all. And you'll see people online that they've been in business for 2 or 3 years, and all of a sudden they're the biggest expert in the world. And I'm like, I just look at them like I would one of my kids, and I'm like, have fun with that. Good luck with that. You're going to run into something. And those are the same people that 2 days later, they're posting a picture that they burned through the paint because they were so confident they didn't check the thickness of the paint, and now they just bought a paint job. And I think some of that living and learning how to do it the wrong way, or how to come up with a problem and have to, that's what you have to be able to be humble enough to ask a question.
Yeah. And I think
subtitles for Russ subtitles on it. This is getting good. This is getting good.
That's the problem with the UK. You got so many different accents in one little bitty area. It's like you got Cockney and Scottish and British and
there was a weekend where Carolyn and Richard and Jody and I were trying to do Cockney, and we were completely confusing the wait staff at an American hotel because we were speaking in Cockney, and he's trouble and strife instead of your wife, and I mean it was just.
Well, when we were on MTE, it was really funny because Alan Metcalf, who is Scottish, he's actually from what we would consider the Highlands, so he's got a completely different accent from us. He came over to us and said, "Guys, I can't hang out with you guys because my accent will come back like this."
Yep.
And he's worked so hard to lose his accent. So funny. It was so immediately.
Start speaking Cornish.
So Alan's from the part of Scotland that's got the hairy cows. That's why his hair looks so good. He's got that Scottish Highland cow thing.
Oh, now I gotta go post one of those.
Right. Now we're gonna post a hairy cow for.
I'm going to teach a wee bit of Scottish then, so you don't say Highland cows, you say Heelan coos.
Heelan coos.
Heelan coos. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, that's funny.
Webbed toes. I don't know about the webbed feet thing. That's a little.
It's because he's got 6.
I know,
and they're all webbed together. Man.
So what is next for you guys? Right? I mean, what do you see happening in the near future?
Near future, we've got a couple of things going on. Obviously, we're really passionate to bring the Detailing Summit to Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, June 17th, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's happening 17th to 20th of June this year with Richard. And there's quite a few guys coming. We've got Marcus coming over from Portugal to do SVs for IDA.
Yeah.
A lot of good guys coming, and we've been really passionate about having an event in Scotland because nothing really happens in Scotland.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get as many Scottish detailers to come on board to learn and see how, as Dave said last week, about the collaboration happens at the top. That kind of scenario, and I think he's absolutely bang on with that, and I think that's just happened to me. Collaboration does happen at the top, and I think holding the Detailing Summit at my studio is going to be game changing for me once again. I think, and we're really looking forward to that. We've also got another sort of thing going on at the moment that's going to be happening within the next few months. We're going to be working with a lovely guy who's unfortunately had quite a few strokes. Doesn't do well. He's called the Disabled Detailer on Instagram, and he's basically more for his mental health than anything else. He's trying to get us involved with a kind of project of his, involving a lot more people with disabilities learning how to detail and coming down to the studio and learning from us as well. So that's kind of the main things that's kind of happening at the moment. And then there's obviously bigger things. Isabel's going to be going for her SV, and God knows how many patches she's going to have.
There you go.
That's
right. It'll just be a whole long sleeve.
She's
and I want to take a moment to give a shout out to not only the Detailing Summit, but also the IDA, because I think about the conversations that Rod and I have, the events that we've been to, the people that we've met, the things that we've learned would not have happened for either one of those things, right? And it's like leaning into these associations and these training events and these summits, dude, it really does open doors to you. It's like I joke all the time. Every time Rod and I go to an event, we come back with new ideas, new exposure, and our developers hate it because we're like, oh, we have new ideas, and they're like, all right, when do you want that one?
You feel the same. Any sort of, not that I've been personally to that many. I've been to a few events now involving the IDA, and I come away really inspired. I mean, I'm a note taker, so I'm down the front listening, and I'm like, okay, I'll write this down, I'll write that. And then on the drive home, I'm in Andy's ear going, we should do this, we should do that. Really buzzing with excitement about it all. So you get the detailing world's so lucky to have an association like that.
It's absolutely fantastic. I think obviously we're involved with IDA in the UK, but when we came over to the States for the first time, it was like, wow, they are super friendly. You know, Levi Gates and Megan and all these people, Josh, so friendly, so really happy to have conversations with you, and it's
no ego there.
No egos at all in the room.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's so friendly. Yeah. You've actually not came across one single person that's been unfriendly to you at all?
No. Again, I was a wee bit, a kind of imposter syndrome myself as well, especially going to the States recently, where I was worried because I'm a newcomer. I don't know as much as, for example, Andy and his peers. I was worried that people would see me as just somebody that's there to hold Andy's jacket, you know. But no, that didn't happen. People were actually pushing him out the way to speak to me. So it was.
Well, and I think that is one of the things. That
so he's your dominatrix.
That's right.
He was in my jacket the whole time.
That's right. So I think that's the nice thing. I mean, the IDA, the association itself has really started to expand out, and I'm really happy with some of the changes that have come around in the last years. And I think, you know, if I look back at the last several years, you had Alan was the president, Craig was the president, Dave's been really involved in it, Richard's been involved in it. You know, I think that has been really helpful to bring it really into an international association. And that's one of the big goals going forward, is we're making a lot of changes to the website for the IDA and stuff. And that's one of the big things, is to highlight that it's international. It's not a U.S. organization with a couple other little things. It's an international organization. And again, I would mirror what you guys have said, that going to an IDA event, you meet great people. There's a lot of people that are very humble, that are willing, they want you to know what they know. And I think that's going to be great. You know, in a year from now, we've got the event in Manchester,
March 12th,
that's putting on, you know, right underneath the Concord. I can't think of a more beautiful setting for that. And we're looking really forward to doing that, because like I said, anytime we get to these larger events like that, and the summits, there's so much that you take in. You're tired at the end of it, because you've taken in so much stuff and you've been aware of new things all over the place and new people. And so I think it's going to be great. We want to see all the videos and everything that goes on at your shop when you have the summit coming up here, because that'll be a lot of fun.
That'll be fun. Is it at your shop?
Yeah, it's at our shop. Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. Epic.
The Studio 16 is actually in a really, really gorgeous part of Scotland, in the west coast. It's right on the coast. So a few people who are going to be attending from down south are actually going to make a mini holiday out of it. It's a very historical part of Scotland as well. And we just pray that it's going to be sunny and dry at very least. But
keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah, to make the most of it. But we're excited to have it at the studios.
Yeah, we really are.
And it was all testament to obviously the two that Andy attended down south, which was hosted by Carolyn and Richard. He came away from it so inspired. We thought, we have to bring this to Scotland. You know, there's so many retailers up here who would benefit massively from it.
I think that's the thing. I think for me, it's like there's not one person wouldn't benefit.
No.
Everyone will benefit from it. Everyone will have a takeaway. If you go, it's kind of like being in the IDA. You get what you put in. If you come to the summit and you're willing to listen to people and participate and learn from them, you're going to go away with loads.
So what's on the table at Detailing Summit? I mean, you got 3 days. So what's on the table?
Yeah, so we've got obviously Richard and Carolyn will be doing the leather repair. We've got Alex from Rupes going to be demoing stuff. Angel Wax. There's loads. Isabel's actually going to be doing her first training because she's a motorbike specialist. Funny story, she's never been in a motorbike. But that's her speciality. Yeah. So she's going to be doing that.
See, I don't think that's a hindrance. I just think, well, do I really need to ride a motorbike to know how to clean it? I don't really do.
No, but you should do it because it's addictive and fun, and you should do it anyway.
It's fun while you stay on them. It's when you fall off, it's not so much fun.
It's not fun when you fall off, but you learn. Again, you learn. You're like, I shouldn't have done that. That is not a good thing.
I had a big motorbike accident in 2016, so I'm lucky I can still walk. I broke my neck in 2016.
Ooh, ow.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
We have a
I broke my neck twice in my life. I broke my neck in a car crash, then I broke my neck in a motorbike crash.
And you broke your back as well.
I broke my back.
Yep.
When
Aye, really?
No, I definitely wouldn't get on a motorbike.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm an old guy.
Yeah. So the summit is really just going to be about we're kind of replicating the winning formula that Richard and Carolyn have in place with just a few extra wee bits and pieces to make it put a wee stamp on it of our own. So one of the things we've been aware of is some of the people who are going to be attending, we hope, maybe valeters or detailers who are working completely on their own, maybe even just starting their journey. To come along and learn the absolute basic stuff that people like Andrew who might just take for granted that people might know. So we're starting it from very basic. So we're having an outdoor wash lesson to just take things straight back to basics. So we're going to be so we want it to be really interactive. We want people to join in and just get involved in it basically. And then obviously we want to have we want to have a business section as well. So we're bringing in, we've got our social media guy who does paid ads for us, which is really successful. And I know a lot of people in the UK try paid ads on Facebook and maybe say it doesn't work. We've had such success, but we've had to put it in the hands of a professional who knows, an expert knows what he's doing. So he's going to come along and give people some real basic insider tips to help them on that journey. And we've also got a photographer coming in who's going to help people to show them how to photograph their work. And there's no point in having this gleaming, gorgeous vehicle leaving the premises and they can't take a decent photo of it to sell their work. So we've got a few more things like that coming in.
That's awesome.
That's good.
That's
I think
super
that's
cool.
the overlooked part of the journey that you have as a business.
How do you
owner
market yourself?
Is how do you market yourself, and how do you and some of the things that Richard's brought into his with Carolyn and the summits we've gone to has been the mental health part of it. And just getting over the either the ego or the fear of not being able to ask questions. There's kind of both sides of that. And I think that's the greatest thing is you can be somebody that's really super shy, but as you sit back, like you said, Andy, you kind of sit back and you assess, you're going to pick something out of that. You're still going to get something out of it. And so that's coming up. You guys, if you're in Scotland or in the UK, you should probably try to get in there. Maybe you can get Russ to help you with your accent so you can sneak in and say you're from
Well, I actually forgot. Rusty's going to be there as well.
Oh, yeah, Russ is going to be there.
Yeah.
Forgot about Russ.
Yeah,
that's awesome. No, that's going to be pretty exciting. So I have a question for Isabel. So you're new to the game, right?
Yeah.
So what have you learned as you've kind of stepped into a new business that is different than what you were doing before, but you've been able to kind of bring over to help you two as a team?
Yeah, well, I don't think there's anything really that different, to be honest, which is what's really been gobsmacking for me. I didn't really, I thought when Andy asked me to join his business, I thought, there's no way I can do that. I know nothing about it. There's actually so many transferable skills and so many things I already know in business that I've been able to bring in. But I think one of the biggest things, and I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, but when I went into Andy's studio, I'm very into aesthetics. I'm very into, give me an empty space and I'll make it look a specific way by adding plants and, all. Do you know what I mean? I'm more into the aesthetic side of things. And I walked into Andy's studio and I said, your studio just looks like everybody else's studio. It just looks the same as everyone else's. Let's put a bit of a more personal stamp on it. So from that, he then put his own stamp on his studio. He's now got BMX bikes all over the walls. He's got plants everywhere. We've even got a big, massive, humongous, big van shoe, which there's a story with that, in the studio. So when you walk around, there's graffiti art everywhere. So it's very much him, but it's still a very much a working studio, but it's very photogenic. It's very, you know, you can spot Andy's studio from a photograph because of the background. So I think that's been the biggest impact I've had there. In terms of the business side of things, he was already running that business as we've ran the barbershop business together and as I've ran my own business. So I don't really feel I brought much to that in the terms of the table, except I'm very into operations, systems and processes.
Yeah.
Which is why I went when I was so excited to go to Chris Ben's seminar at MTE, because he's very into that. I learned quite a lot from that, actually. So I love putting systems into place so things don't get forgotten about, because Andy can keep it up there because he's had 35 years of doing it his way. I need to know how to do it from A, B, C, D. So I've put a lot of things like that into place, which is, I think, helped you, has it?
Yeah.
It's helped me. You know what? It's actually helped keep the studio a lot more organised.
There's a lot more background organisational skills. You know, everything's done through WhatsApp, with WhatsApp text reminders, loads of stuff like that's been brought in.
Yeah.
Because of you.
Yeah.
You got to leave that one.
Very much a team effort, though, you know, because
it's streamlined everything.
we've streamlined the basics are already there. We're just streamlining things a bit more. You know, I think when you're working by yourself and you do things for yourself, you're so used to doing it a certain way that a fresh pair of eyes coming in could just turn it upside down and make it better, which you didn't think it needed to be better. So
no, that's
cool.
easy
for us. I mean, you know, we have CRM systems, so we're right with you there.
We're all about that side.
But I think that's what's interesting about bringing somebody else in. And I would agree with you. If you guys haven't, to wait till you see the pictures of the shop if you've never seen it. When the first summit happened, and Richard invited me to that WhatsApp group, and I saw the pictures of your shop, and people were just in awe of your shop. So it is absolutely beautiful. It is very unique, and you know, I'm into all the old stuff. I love hot rod stuff. I've been building hot rods.
Yeah, go into his shop, man. It's all old stuff.
And I love the old memorabilia stuff. And so to have the BMX bikes and to have, you know, old license plates and, you know, Harley fenders and stuff like that. And I'm the same way. I have stuff all over. I've got Harley memorabilia, and I've got, you know, a painted flamed mailbox that's got old hot rod flames on it, and just love that kind of stuff. That is perfect for a shop because you need to feel like it's you. And that's what I think that's what a lot of people, they try to go for this really sanitary look instead of being themselves. And I can't imagine the two of you, just the way that you guys are, having this, you know, white shop with white cabinets and concrete.
We couldn't be clinical.
The shop does match.
We couldn't be clinical. I think when you walk into Studio 16, you can kind of think, yeah, I know who would work in a place like this, and describe a T, I think.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, and there's a power to that customer experience, right?
Yeah.
They walk into your shop. I mean, they have an experience just walking into your shop.
Yeah, and the reason it got built the way it was, we done the same with the barber shop. I wanted people to walk into the shop and realise this is going to cost me more than $30.
Yeah.
This isn't just a valeting shop. So when you walk in, they know.
Yeah.
They know. And I would have to say that I would say nearly 100%. I would say of people that walk through the doors, if you get them in the door, the job's sold.
Yeah.
On the way the studio sits, I've had people come in and say, "Do you actually work in here?" Because it is, although it's not clinical, it's clinically clean.
Yeah.
There's nothing sitting around. Everything's got its place, and it does look as if I don't work there half the time. To be fair.
But that's
chime in and say, yeah, but you go home at 3:00 every day. That's what he's going to chime in.
I think that's part of the whole. You have to have that flow through your whole business, right?
Yeah.
Your persona of nearly perfection is going to go throughout, right? It can't be clinical, you know, but people have to understand it. Wow, this shop is organized. And there's so many shop owners that are that way now. They're starting to do that. They've got their cabinets all organized, and they've got the walls are painted and the floors painted and everything looks good, because that's that first impression. They walk in the door and they need to see that, and it's important for a business.
Presentation is everything, and even the way you look. I mean, we have our uniforms, and we always try to look a specific way at work, because I think first impressions, you only get an opportunity to do that, make one first impression. Yeah. And because of the type of the caliber, as you mentioned, the cars that Andy gets in the studio, they're expensive cars. We want people to be able to, the trust is immediately there. They see you looking really professional, you're in a really professional setup, although there is, things of interest around the place to talk about. Again, a lot of our clients coming in the door are sort of age group, if not older, and they can, they'll see the BMX bikes and they'll talk about them as a talking point, and immediately the ice is broken, and immediately there's a conversation there before even talking about their vehicle. So there's a lot of trust being built right away, and it's just a conversation that naturally happens. So people immediately are open to you talking about coatings and machine polishing and what have you, and they're more receptive to it, I feel. So it's worked really well for us, actually, having the studio look like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool.
That's really good.
So I'm gonna take this one to Andy, right? Okay. Kind of in wrap up, right? Because, dude, I mean, we can keep going. Rod and I always enjoy a great conversation. You've been in business for a bit, right? Yeah. You started out mobile. 6 years ago opened the shop. What are some key things that you think would be helpful to other detail business owners as they're building their business?
I think for me, the biggest thing is be prepared for the grind. The grind I call trying to get work and trying to keep your customers happy and stuff like that. The grind for me this year has been particularly hard. I'll be honest. The beginning of the year has been tough. We're through the other side of it. Just I don't know what's happening in the world just now. A lot of things are happening, but it's been particularly tough. So the grind for me's been really, really hard this year. And I think if you're not prepared to grind and get down and dirty and try and get work and chase work, then don't work for yourself, because it will get you down really, really quick.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's very valuable, because a lot of people, I think, get this misconception. If you look at a lot of surface level business stuff, your business starts out and then it just grows and grows and grows, and everybody thinks it's a concept. It's like this, and it goes great for a while, and then it goes way up and way down, and then 1 week we were just talking about it.
We're just talking about this.
3 steps forward, 2 back, and then 5 forward and 2.5 back, and you have to be prepared that things happen, right? And you're going along, and all of a sudden the steamer breaks down, and or your polisher breaks down, or whatever happens. You have to be able to take a deep breath and say, okay, what do we need to do? I lost that client. I've got to go get 2 more.
I'd like to take that one step further, right? It's easy to be mentally prepared for it, right? Or it's coming, but let's talk about the reality of the last couple months, right? It's like, it's easy to say, be prepared for it, but what does it really look like for you, Andy, as you've moved through that? Because that is not only a business game, it's a mental game, it's an emotional game.
I think for me, the game changer really has been, I got a social media guy in with us in November last year. He's then moved into dealing with lead generation and stuff like that. And he's actually spoke to me when we come back from Orlando and said, you need to do paid ads. And I was really against it. But from those paid ads, I get 40 leads in week 1. Wow. From the spends this size, the gains this size. So moving forward with the business, we're now having basically a what do you call it? Budget. Or we've got a budget now that's just going to cover that. And what's that's taken all the concern out of me. I know if I'm going quiet, up the budget, and it will up the reward. I don't know. It's probably the best spend I've ever done. No, I'm not really dealing with my social media the same, so I'm spending more time at home, not on my phone or whatever, which can be constant. I'm lucky that Isabel works for herself as well, and she's lucky that I work for myself, because we both understand that when you're home, you're not really home, you're still working.
Yeah.
You know, and
yeah,
that's kind of changed just by getting probably somebody else on board to deal with that side of the business, and it's just eased everything off.
Yeah, absolutely.
It did. When we came back from NTE, we were both in a complete downer because we had such a great time there.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, back to the grind.
Yeah.
So it was. I would say, to add to that, to anybody out there who's going through a bit of a grinding time, go to one of the IDA events. Go to any of these kind of events where you're going to go meet your peers. Because away from it so inspired and so motivated, it will help you through the bad times and the rough times for sure.
And it's good for business. Well, you know, if you are going through a tough time, you can check to see whether it's a you problem or a detailing world problem, you know. And sometimes it isn't a you problem. You can't really do an awful lot about it. This year we have done something about it, and moving forward, that's exactly how we're going to run things. We've both decided.
I think just sharing your woes with your peers is enough to give you that wee cushion, that wee buoyant to get back up again and keep on going. But business is hard. You know, business is hard. No matter what industry you're in, it is hard, and you've just got to keep going. But being self-employed isn't for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. But it does bring.
No, it is not.
It is not. And I think that goes that statement. I think a lot of people that aren't in business for themselves, they don't understand that. They're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's geez, it's gotta. You don't have to have a boss. You don't have this. You have the worst boss ever. He's looking at you, or she's looking at you in the mirror every single day. Every single time you pick up that phone and you start messing around with something, your boss goes, "Hey, what are you doing? You need to work." And so it is worse to me. And that's my wife. She's been super understanding and with me over the years owning businesses. And she looks at me and she says, "I do not know why you do that. More power to you. You go for it." Because she's like, "I can't deal with all the stuff you deal with." And we've been married 36 years this May.
Wow.
It takes a whole village of support, as you guys know. To do that. You guys have had several businesses. I mean, you've got the barbershop and the studio and the beauty stuff you do. It's not for the faint of heart, but you got it. Once it gets inside of you, you start thinking about other ways. You're like, "Hey, if we did this, and I think that's what keeps us going. You know, Jody and I'll, we'll get down, like you said, we'll go to some of these events. We meet with our friends, with some of the people in the industry. We come back and we're recharged. We're ready to go. Let's go get this,
That's what we need to do. I mean, we're in our mid-50s now, and I just think sometimes we should be slowing down rather than revving up. But it's just the kind of people we are. I just don't know where we're going to be when we're 70. I don't know, or 80. I think we're still. I really don't know. But,
well, that's us. I mean, Jody, he's like, what are you, 22, and I'm 21, and I said, no.
Yeah,
we're the same way, man. We just, every time we think we're about to, slip into that kind of slow time. Like last year, we bought Detail Booking, we bought another business, and we're like, wow, well, okay, let's go. Yeah. We're ramping up again.
Here we go again. Yep.
Yeah. So, well, this has been a fantastic conversation. Go ahead.
Didn't you say 22 weeks out of the year you haven't been home?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago in 2024, for 22 weeks out of the year we were gone.
And last year it was 16.
So we're slowly bringing that down a little bit.
But there's so many places and so many events that we just want to be a part of and to have an impact, right? Rod and I are very driven by how do we have an impact on you as individuals, but also in your business, which ripples across into every aspect of your life. And it's just, we've been very blessed to have some amazing opportunities all across the globe. And we get to have amazing conversations like this that reinvigorate us. It gives us a different perspective.
Yeah.
And we do this because, look, everybody's in some variation of where we are, right? So there's something that you shared today that is going to touch somebody.
Yeah. hope
And
so.
and that's really what it's about. It's like, how do we have an impact on your business and help you grow? So thank you guys so
Yes.
much for taking the time. We know it's probably about dinner time over there in Scotland.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we've been watching the light slowly fade.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
I was noticing that too.
so,
So
but we've really appreciated it. We love meeting you guys. You guys are super fun. If you guys, if anybody out there watching this or that sees this does not know these guys, you really need to go check out Studio 16 and Andy and Isabel. And if you're in the Scotland or the UK area, you got to go to one of the summits that's coming up. It'll change your business. It'll change your mindset.
And make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Every week we go live, YouTube at rotafest.com. It's also on Facebook, obviously, but Facebook takes it down after 30 days. I don't know why they do that, but they do. So that's why it's on YouTube, because it's always there. There's over 5. We're almost to our 600th episode.
Episodes of this,
And
insane.
I think we will hit 600 about April, May. So, but anyway, hold on. Let's get this last few comments before we let you guys bounce. Let's see. Dave Reed, great conversation, folks.
Listen to this great work team. Off to CertCom meeting. Oh boy,
CertCom. Oh, have fun with that, buddy. So anyway, thank you guys so much, and it's such an honor to meet you guys. So
thanks for having us.
Likewise,
it's been great
thanks
fun.
so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
See you later,
All
guys.
right, have a great day.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.